the front.
We're all talking in the mic.
We're all talking in
the
mic. So
This is not just practice.
no, this is for real.
Okay.
So hello and welcome to Idiots with Instruments, the show that follows the band Red Hot Rebellion as we write and record our new album from scritchety scratch. This is one of the shows that lives up to the old-timey Irish proverb, I've got 99 problems, but the bitch ain't one. Hit me.
Order up.
I'm Jim Tremontana, bassist and lead vocalist of Red Hot Rebellion.
I'm Doug Spencer, guitar player and least important vocal.
And I'm Andres Devine, drummer and second most important vocal.
That's correct. And joining us today, we finally have a guest. Yay! Order up!
Order up.
We
Big
have our
time.
first guest on Idiots with Instrument, a man who is not an idiot,
Yeah.
Mr. Chris Suttle. Chris, please say hello.
Hello, I'm currently wondering what I just got myself into right now.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Welcome to the
Yes,
Thunderdome.
welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome, Chris.
It's going to
It's a
be
pleasure to
awful.
be here.
Yes.
No, really.
It's going to be uncomfortable.
Honest.
Watch out for that.
It's going to get real uncomfortable real
Yep.
quick. So Chris, as we like to call him, is the fourth Rebellionaire. He
true.
is
Yeah.
our producer, engineer, friend, brosive, confidant, and all that kind of stuff rolled into one.
Yeah.
But for people who don't know you, Chris, who the hell are you? Who are you?
You know, I'm on a journey to discovery to find that out each and every day.
Aren't we all?
Yes.
Yes.
So, no, so my name's Chris. A lot of people refer to me as Cookie. And I like to produce and record and play music. I also try to play guitar. In my wife's band, Jamie Suttle.
Yes.
And I started off doing live sound a long time ago and just naturally morphed into recording when people needed it done, and I was the only one that could figure it out. So
Yeah. And
Nice.
did you go to school for recording?
No.
Or you're all self-taught.
He's smart as shit.
School of Hard Knocks.
Which is which is damn impressive.
I didn't graduate from there.
Yeah, I dropped out. I flunked out.
Gave up.
Whatever.
You were on the 12-year plan. So you're all self-taught. So I guess the experience you had running a live sound translated into the studio easily for you,
Yeah.
or was there like a learning curve? How did that
There,
go?
it is a lot different. It's a totally different beast. But one thing about when I started doing sound in college, I did a little bit when I was in high school, but I didn't know what I was doing. But in college, I got a job as an audio engineer's assistant, essentially, at Wright State University. And we would do concerts several times a month, if not more. And the cool thing was we would do a different type of music or act almost every time, from comedy to heavy metal to an orchestra. And
Oh,
so
wow.
it gave me a good background
Yeah.
on really how to deal with every kind of music.
Right.
And that's one
Trial
thing I
of
like to do with recordings. I love working, a lot of guys just only do metal, and a lot of guys just only do synth pop. And I like to do a little bit of everything. So
Right. Yeah. What's the weirdest instrument you've recorded? Have you recorded a bell? I guess a school bell. But
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
School band.
probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Your school bell and your drum kit was
Right.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
it
probably an
sounds pretty
awful
weird.
experience for everyone.
yeah.
It really was.
I kind of hated that bell.
That's great fun to mix.
Boy, how?
Or that just pokes through everywhere, doesn't
Right,
it?
right.
No, I
Sorry
think
about
the
that.
coolest thing was the old squeeze box.
Oh wow.
Ah.
And
Not an
nice.
accordion, but like a old time.
no, it was an accordion.
Okay, but still.
But this guy walked in, and these, I don't know if you ever picked one up, but they're really heavy.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're probably like 60 pounds or more.
Wow.
And this guy walked in, he's probably in his 70s. He's got a dislocated shoulder in a sling. And he's like, okay, let's do this. He takes the sling off, and he just goes to town, and it was amazing.
That's cool.
He started playing all this Russian stuff, and I just hit record and just let it go.
Let it go.
Nice.
Wow.
It was amazing. So
That's pretty awesome.
Sounds neat.
that was a fun one to do.
That's pretty cool.
So, and you've been like, well, so how long have you been recording and producing? Would you say, like, working in a studio? Because you're at Encore Studios now, and
Right.
you had previous studios before. So how long
Yeah.
have you been
So I
doing
guess
that?
when I got out of my my last band back in like 2007, I'd been recording on and off a little bit throughout before that, but decided to really do it in earnest, probably 2006, 2007. And I started in my old house, just in my bedroom, and I would set up drums in the living room, and run a bunch of cable, and negotiate the furniture with the band and stuff like that. So that was cool. But then opportunity came up, probably I don't know, a couple years later, to move into a building in downtown Dayton, and I just decided to go for it, and it was great fun. And that's when I was talking to you guys, and
that's when we met us.
Yeah.
I think I had bugged you guys for a while before you ever got back with me.
Yeah, I think that's.
I think you kind of blew me off originally. Actually,
yeah, probably.
Yeah,
we were real reluctant to talk to people at the beginning.
And we're kind of dicks.
Yeah,
So,
we're kind of the worst.
I mean,
we were trying to do the thing with Crazy Phil.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was such a mistake.
yeah,
And then-
we're not going to talk about that anymore.
Yeah, we talked about that a little.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Enough. And then I think
Probably more
so.
than
We were gun shy. I think is the
Well,
bad
that brings up an
experience.
important point. A lot of times, it's just important for a band to, if they hire a producer engineer, it's important to find someone that works with your band's personality.
Right.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
it comes down to more than just cables and mics and hit and record. It comes down to relationships. So, and that's with anything in life, really.
Yeah.
Right.
Aw.
Take note, kids.
There you go, kids.
Yeah.
See, there's
Yeah,
your
that's-
2 bits of sense from
That's right.
Right.
Cookie Subtle.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's good. That's a good point you bring up, and that's something I was hoping we would get to, is like some little advice for people when they're recording.
Yeah.
Right? And I guess and to come back to your point is that's the reason we stick with you, is because we like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why
And
you're
you're
the fourth
fucking good.
Rebellion.
Yeah, I was flashing back to after Crazy Phil, and then I think the three of us had talked about some of our recording experiences we had in the past, and we
Yeah.
were all kind of like comparing notes, and I think at least my experiences were all pretty sucky.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we all came back with, and we're like, well, do we want to try somebody else who might be kind of sucky? But we were unsure. But
Right.
no, not
Well,
saying that you were sucky, but then it
Definitely
was like, all
kinda
right,
sucky.
We were
It was
just like, there is a high probability due to all of our past experiences that this
Yeah.
is not going to be great.
But then I think when we went in too, and us
Yeah.
being a new band, and then I think having the songs that we had together, which I think for the most part, those were we've been gigging those, I think, for
Yeah.
a little bit,
Yeah.
at least.
And I think we picked. We did one song first, right?
Yeah, we
I
did.
think-
And
Benefit
that was
of
like
the
our.
Doubt, I think, right?
No,
Or
it
what
was Cooking with Gas.
Cooking with Gas, and that was the
Because
test
we had a
run.
That was our
trial.
test. That was
Yeah.
the test one.
and I don't know if Chris knew it was a trial.
Yeah.
Well, you
yeah,
do
we'll
now.
do 10 songs with you, no problem.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
You're
I
only
think
gonna pay for
the
one.
deal was Chris is
Yeah.
like, you come in, you do a song, you see how it
Yeah,
goes, and then we'll
that
go
was
from
it.
there. And I was like, that sounds fair.
that's
And
fair
like
enough.
assholes. Okay, so here's a tip for you kids. Like assholes, we decided to bring in a guest musician
For the first song,
our
yeah.
first song for our session.
Oh, yeah.
we had a guy sit in for harmonica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
which turned out
Rich.
great.
Yeah,
But
Rich.
something. Don't do that. When,
Yeah.
Just ever.
well, ever. But don't do that in a new studio when you're a
Right.
new band and you've only recorded together twice.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, we-
And then both of the twices,
Poor
Yeah.
experience.
were
Well,
terrible.
the-
Well, I don't know, terrible. They were learning experiences.
Yeah, one of them
There you
was
go.
fine. I mean, it was just done at our practice space, which is not.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It,
Okay.
it was just like that was kind of recording to just get shows. I think.
Yeah, that was like a
basically,
demo, like a
right?
nice demo,
Yeah.
basically.
But
But
then-
then
Yeah.
we were like, well, we want to record something for release,
Right.
Yeah.
And that's when
That's
Chris
when
came in.
Chris came in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
But-
did that one, and then we were like, hey, that was pretty not painful.
Right.
Yeah, it was actually
going.
really nice.
Which was real
So,
good. And then I think that's when we're like, hey, why don't we do, what was it, 11 more songs
What?
or whatever?
Some-
Why don't we do
Yeah.
everything with this guy?
Well, yeah. That's what
And
it's
then we
turned
did.
into now.
Yeah, it was fun
Yeah.
to do some loud
Yeah.
rock and roll. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So okay, so new band. So here's one of my questions on the sheet. I actually came
Okay.
prepared.
Read
was
the sheet.
Like, boxers or brief? No, that's for Doug.
Yeah, I've got all
Neither.
kinds of questions.
So like, what's a common mistake that new bands make in the studio? Like, what do you're like? Is there something that people do over and over again that you're like, I wish people would just not do this, or I wish I would have known this as a younger? Yeah.
right. Yeah. Number one.
No, I think That's a tough question. I don't think, in my experience, no one's done anything really tragic. But I think
what would save them time and pain.
Well, this is a hard thing to do, but I think more often than anything, just come with an open mind. And because a lot of bands come with a very set way of doing things, and sometimes that way is really terrible.
Right.
And so it's kind of up to me to say, okay, we'll do it your way, but let's also try it my way, just for giggles. And so working through that. And I remember when I was a young dude, I thought I knew everything. And then I quickly learned that, there's way better to do pretty much anything. So,
Right.
Yeah.
that's one thing I liked about you guys. You guys were open-minded, and you kind of just let me do my thing. And
Some of us more than others.
yeah,
We're looking at Doug.
well,
What?
No.
I think we all did fine.
No, we did.
I think we all did.
Yeah, no,
except
I
for
think-
me.
Well, even with you wanting to, because you always strive for perfection. I think that you got to a point where you were like, I trust you guys.
well, and here's one thing that's
Yeah.
been really helpful is as long as I've worked with you guys, I've learned things that make you guys comfortable in your performances.
Right.
And for Doug, for example, it took me a while to get there, but when let's say he's overdubbing a guitar solo, he needs that loud and stupid. So
That's
I
true.
think the
Very
last time that
stupid.
worked best is I literally would put a stage monitor wedge in front of his face
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier, but
with
proof in the
with
pudding.
his 412 cabinet right button, just like he's on stage, and that's how he gets the best performance. And there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that.
Right.
That's
Right.
just what motivates you.
And that was Chris's idea.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And I'm
Right.
just I've learned it, to get his best performance, he needs to be wearing like a singlet.
That's true.
I think it's just no pants.
No pants, yes.
Yeah.
No
As long as I'm not wearing pants, I'll be doing okay.
yeah. Yep.
yeah, and that was the same session. That was the not Melt the Sky. That was the Mission. When we were recording the Mission, he finally decided, let's put Doug in a room with
Yeah.
loud shit.
Yeah, 'cause we
And he
tried some
also
different
said,
stuff.
hey, let's record this drill, this electric
Yeah.
drill.
Oh, yeah, the drill.
Which wound up awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was Prepare to be Destroyed, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I honestly
so those
don't remember
crazy
that.
squealies.
That
Yeah.
that
You
whole
had him
album is fantastic.
record we did a lot of experimental
Yeah.
shit
So,
on there.
so when you guys are getting ready to tab out, melt or what?
Yeah.
What?
Prepare to be Destroyed.
Prepare to be destroyed. That
Yeah.
song.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you're getting ready
Ending-
to tab it, you need to put in the Black and Decker.
yeah, corded drill.
It was a corded
Corded
drill. Yeah,
drill
you can't
for
get that
extra
tone
yeah.
from a cordless grill.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure this one was like vintage, like
Yeah.
78 ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my calls to Black and Decker for sponsorship have gone unanswered. So
Son of a
Yeah.
bitch.
That's above
Dang
me.
it.
I can
Really
only
is.
imagine there have been many
Well,
calls.
we've talked about
High hopes.
getting good performances out of me and Andres. What about Jimmy?
Yeah.
I mean, Jimmy's got double duty,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
especially vocals,
Right.
because I've come in and seen this guy ready to jump off the cliff.
yeah,
And
a
you've
lot of
been able
sessions,
to
it's just me
talk
and him.
Right.
Right,
down.
been able
Yeah.
to talk him off
Yeah.
the cliff.
Fix it. You fixed our.
Yeah,
Well, I think his is twofold because when we're going in, we're tracking all the main stuff. We're just playing bass, and I think you just need to hear your bass cab,
Right.
not just a headphone mix. You need to hear your bass cab. So what we did in the old space is we would put the amps in different little isolation booths, and we would open the doors so all the noise would come out. And
Yeah, and I could
Jimmy
feel it.
Jimmy just needs to feel it. So.
Yeah.
Vocal wise, I think it's just making you do it over and over until you get comfortable with it, and you're
Yeah,
not.
and then telling me to stop when my voice is shot. Because
Yeah.
there's sometimes when I'm like, let's just fucking do it again. And you're like,
Yeah.
okay. But
yeah, and that's one thing I learned too. You can hear when people are kind of done emotionally and physically, and sometimes you just got to stop it. And sometimes it goes for myself. Like if I'm done. And
Right,
I can't really invest anymore into what people are doing. I've got to call it myself.
yeah, and you've been like on the producer side of things. You're usually the guy that's like, okay, let's break for lunch.
Yeah.
Because you could tell we're all like getting
Right,
low blood
yeah.
sugar and twitchy.
Frustrated or
Also, I like to eat a lot. So
Yeah.
almost
Right.
constantly.
big fan of the food.
Yeah.
Yep.
You've always got snacks.
Yeah. But then one thing that's been fun about you guys is each project has some weird, wacky surprise that's different, and it's always fun. Like now we're recording a podcast.
Yeah. And you're part of it.
What's happening with my life right now?
Whether you want to be or not, you're getting
Because guess
sucked
what?
right back
Right.
in.
Yep.
Hashtag blessed.
Order up.
Yeah, because we will have cameras and mics and all kinds of crap going in the studio when we're
Right.
recording.
So
Hopefully, so
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, we were looking at head mount GoPros and the Garth Brooks mic setups.
Yeah.
Wireless packs.
Yeah.
So-
It's going to be
getting out of
ridiculous.
control.
live stream on
Yeah,
everybody
on
from
everything,
the
yeah.
minute you get up. So you get to see Anderson on the toilet, like
Yeah.
point
Right,
view him
right.
checking his mail and stuff.
Exactly.
On the
Laughing
can.
at cat videos.
It's just like
I have a question.
yeah, of course.
Salad topping. Favorite. Go.
Diced tomatoes.
Nice.
Good
Nice.
choice.
That's a good.
Okay.
That's it, really?
I've
That's
got
all?
more.
Yeah. Give him another one.
Okay. Favorite body part.
On me or my wife?
Your choice.
it's a good question.
A gentleman never tells. So anyway, here it is.
Excellent.
Very good. Very good. No, seriously. What would you say? I know I probably got like a top 5 of like things I've probably learned from just over the years in general, but like the top 5 things, like, you know, I think like our first, maybe episode 1,
Yeah.
we were talking about like things like if we were going to tell the kids like, hey,
Like
do
the
this,
pre-production.
Yeah, like
Get your-
pre-production. We were
like
talking
make
about
sure
pre-production.
You're
Try
sitting
to-
tune
Yeah.
and
Try to learn your
Tune and-
BPM so that
Yeah,
it's
all
not
that
annoying.
kind of stuff.
We
like,
got that already.
I'm just curious, like, what would you say your like top 2 or 3 or whatever, you know, like pre-production things or things like to be prepared when you go into the studio environment, or I guess just in general.
Yeah, I think just in
songwriter.
general, talk to your engineer or producer ahead of time and just work out details so you're not figuring out why you're there. You know, come up with a kind of a plan. Obviously, things are going to change when we get in the studio, but work out especially all the businessy stuff, like money,
Yeah,
like who's going to
right.
pay what
Right.
at a time. And, you know, if you're working with a producer, what their point agreement is. And then, you know, the pre-production stuff, work with your producer on that as well, and work out all those arrangements and stuff ahead of time. Now it's so easy to do. Like when I'm working with an artist, I just say, send me a voice memo from your iPhone or whatever other
Right.
device you use, and I can tell from that, like, okay, maybe this verse, a guitar should drop out, or just, you know, maybe rearrange things a little bit, and, you know, you get all that done ahead of time, you save so much time.
Right.
And it's easier on me, it's easier on them, and, you know, that's kind of thing I also enjoy, so.
right.
And that's kind of a fulfilling thing for me, is when a band takes those things to heart and you hear it in the final product and they say, oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. That's very fulfilling for me.
sounds
Right.
Yeah.
It's also really cool when you go see that band live and you hear the changes you made, like, oh, yeah, that's really cool.
Right.
That's awesome.
Right.
So-
I would imagine you've probably noticed some of that with us. I feel like you've helped us shape our.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. And I mean, you're a songwriter yourself. So, and I guess that's like one of the other things I wanted to talk to you about is like your process in the Jamie Suttle band, because you write with your wife, which must be challenging at times. And I wonder, like, when you guys are working on new material, does it usually start with her with a melody or lyrics, or with you with a chord progression on guitar, or like?
That's a great question, because in my old bands, we always just came up with the music jams, and whatever singer would just write whatever on top of that.
Right.
With this, it's opposite. She comes up with all the lyrics and melodies ahead of time. And a lot of times she comes up with the guitar parts herself. She'll say, I want you to play this, and she'll kind of hum it to me or whatever, what she has in mind. And so that was a challenge for me at first, but we're getting better at it. But we also have a couple other guys in the band that help with that. And I've got a couple going now where I've started that she's kind of working on writing stuff over top of that. And so she's getting better at that as well. So it's constantly evolving.
Cool.
So you're doing kind of both.
Yeah, because my stuff tends to be a lot of times. She's a country artist, so a lot of her stuff wants to be sad, and like
Minor
sad love
key,
songs or whatever.
yeah.
And so that's her go to, because she's really good at it. And my go to is rock and more the rock side of it. So we try to blend that a little bit, and so I'll bring a little more of that rock influence and
Right.
make her write something over that. And
And that's like your sound too, right? It's like it's the country and the
Yeah.
rock and soul all kind of
Yeah,
rolled
exactly.
into a blender. And then you guys have worked with your own producers.
Yeah,
as
and
well.
so I,
So on
practice
that
what
side
we
of
preach.
the- yeah.
Yeah. So, I could do everything myself, but I also want to stay married. So,
Right.
so we decided we hired a producer. His name's Scott Wilson. He's currently the bass player for Saving Abel. He used to play for Tantric. But he grew up like doing the country thing, and he's been in the country world, and he's got a really great country ear. And he and Jamie are very much in the same wavelength as far as music and lyrics and how like a lot of what her vision is. So it's great to have him kind of take the helm on this stuff. It takes a lot of pressure off me. I can just kind of play guitar.
Right.
And I'll assist the engineer because he's out of Colorado Springs right now, and he also tours a lot. So a lot of times we'll just send him some demos and say, what do you think? And he'll do just like I do. Hey, make this change right here. And I might record it, a lot of this stuff, but it's great just to
Right.
take a lot of that decision making off myself.
Right, you get that.
Get an outsider
Yeah.
feedback. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone
That's
else looking at
That's what's really nice about you for us also, because we get really close to the.
it. Yeah. And
Yeah, a lot of bands will
Sorry.
scoff at the idea of hiring a producer. We don't need to do that, or B, we can't afford it. But I would say try to find a way to afford it.
Right.
Because ultimately, your goal is to have a great production in the studio. And if all you have to do is worry about the music and not so much the decision making with everything, it takes so much off your shoulders, and it just allows you to enjoy it and enjoy playing your music.
Right. And make great art.
Right.
Yeah.
Were you going to say something, Dougie, or was he just spazzing for no good reason?
Just a little twitch.
Probably.
Just spaz if you want to, man. That's
I really
all right.
like this lime,
Fizzy water's good.
cucumber, lemon, Zevia sparkling water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a plug for Zevia.
There you go.
Where
Zevia,
sponsorship
sparkling water,
opportunities abound.
Well, I was thinking that, like tonight when we were working on the new song,
Yeah.
that we started off with a guitar riff that then turned into, I think, a pretty prominent drum bit that actually then turned into
An intro.
An intro.
a fucking intro. Yeah,
Right,
that we
yeah.
totally scrapped a bunch of the other shit we were messing with, and then it turned into that. And as you were talking, I was just thinking, like, I think one of the things that is really cool about music or working with other people
Yeah.
even people that you've known for years and have wrote other songs with and stuff, is like how it can always change and it can always be different just depending upon your perspective, which is
Yeah.
nice, which goes back to the open-mindedness and
Right.
things like that.
Yeah.
I feel like collaboration is such an important part of
Yeah.
music
in
in
general.
particular.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
it's
like
just-
one of my favorite parts. It's
Absolutely.
like I
Yeah.
do so much on my own creatively with like writing and stuff, but in music. But I really like the collaboration aspect of it.
Yeah, I love getting together and just practicing, like just
Yeah.
jamming. Like that's one of my favorite things in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And I guess
Stress
that's another
relieving.
reason why we like this guy.
Right.
Like-minded.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
Well, that's kind of how you get a feel for like what it's like to play with other people and
Right.
whatever.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
jamming.
I'm sure it's the same with you guys. Like remember growing up in high school and just playing my high school band that was really terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it
Some of
was
my
the
favorite
coolest.
memories. Like
Yeah,
you just thought
absolutely.
every little thing was so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was cool.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Yeah.
I don't know what I just played, man.
Right, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Oh shit, the cops are here. That wasn't so cool.
Let's
Yeah.
try playing Metallica 1 again.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But it sounds so good. It doesn't. it did not.
Definitely not.
So I guess our plan. I don't know. We've told you a little bit about the plan for this new record. There, Mr. Producer, Mr. Engineer, Mr. Best Friend, Chris Suttle. So we want to record 10 new songs, write and record
Yeah.
10 new songs
Yeah.
before
Right.
September 19th.
Yes,
Now
that's
you
the
know
deadline.
how slow we are and how we're like shiny distraction. Oh, look over here. Do you think that's doable? And
Anything's doable for the right price.
Wait, maybe I'm the only one who did. Do you mean you're going to write the album for us? is that what
he is a songwriter.
Right, yeah, he is
Is
a
it
songwriter.
you
There
and
go.
Jamie?
Yeah, you probably don't want me in charge of lyrics.
Yeah. Well, okay, so we have
Jimmy will just change them.
I guess we have a new song that we used to call
If
if someone asks you you're God, you say yes.
Yeah.
And that's too hard to friggin' say, so we've changed it to Sweaty Betty. So the new
I
song.
follow that train of thought.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Sweaty Betty is our new song.
It's basically like if you take that first title and then throw it away and then just
Right.
start over.
Start over
That's what it
something.
is.
I like it. I like it.
Right.
Yeah. So so we have one song two songs now in the works.
Right. What's the other one called?
$3,000 freak out.
Sweaty Betty Part 2.
Maybe this will help. Right. But like you're familiar with our sound. You're familiar with how it's kind of evolved over the full length, the EP, the second full length, and now we're doing a third full length. Like, what would you like to see from us, or should we just fucking keep it simple and do what we do all the damn time? I don't know.
I like what you do, but no.
Don't do it anymore.
You guys should give up.
No, well, I just came downstairs when I got here and I heard you guys jamming, and that was sounding good. So, let's make this one a little more diverse.
Okay.
That sounds legit.
Start with here's a little producing tip. If you're stuck, just try changing the tempo on something. Slow it down. I know it's not very punk.
Right. But neither are we.
Yeah.
Until we are.
Yeah. Although we did start pretty slow last week with the same thing we were jamming on tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was too
And then-
slow.
yeah,
It was
so
like
we
a
started
mid-tempo
slow.
rocker, and we're like,
Yeah.
I hate it.
We're like, this is a snoozer.
But any of those
Yeah,
ideas,
it
like
didn't
if you
feel
record
quite
them, like
right.
send them to me, because I just did an album for a band called Winchester Gray, and probably their least favorite song they weren't going to record. I said we have to do that, and now it's at least my favorite,
Yeah.
and it
Nice.
turned out to be awesome.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So even if you may think it sucks, there might be something
Yeah.
that I can hear say, "Hey, let's do this."
See, that's
Yeah.
that's my problem. I think everything that I do
Right.
sucks.
Well, you're a negative
I was there-
Nancy.
I know. I'm a downer. Dougie Downer.
Dougie down. Yeah. Nothing you do sucks.
My 4-year-old did that to me the other day.
She went wah-wah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I stubbed my toe or something. She goes, "Oh, Dad, wah wah."
I said, you've been hanging out with Mom too much.
Awesome.
What the heck?
Okay,
Yeah.
so variety.
Variety, diversity.
Diversity. Yeah, I mean, like we were saying that the time before, is like with the Mission, we did a little more with keys and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd like to continue throwing more keys in there.
Yeah,
but
and
yeah.
I think that's something that we haven't talked about, like what the vision is for
the future.
the next one.
yeah, we really
Yeah.
let's talk about it now. What do we want to do?
Yeah, exactly. Good podcast.
Yeah,
Good
while
stuff to talk
while
about.
we're all together.
Right. This is
We're having a production
We're-
meeting.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
a production
The fucking
meeting.
producer
See,
right here.
see how that works? I think like tonight with how that morphed into like, okay, that'll be a cool intro, little runny run, whatever, little notey thing. Is something like just stuff like that, and I've always said like we need a song that's going to be like, the intro song to the album, like the old days,
Right.
like the double live or the double album where you'd have, your first side was all, particular tracks, and you'd be like, this one goes into this one, goes into this one,
Right.
and it, I don't know, something that's lost on the digital download, I think,
Right,
But
yeah.
thinking in terms of that, as far as writing, like songs with like a big drum intro, or songs with just a guitar riff or things like that, which I mean, we've done.
Another thing I tell people is, don't be afraid to not play.
Right, and I embrace the shit out of that.
Yeah.
right.
I did too. Like I tell my band people, like I like making it as simple as possible, so I can just like stand there and
Right.
try and
Right.
look cool. Like
One
I don't have to worry about
shot.
stuff to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the
So-
the other song that we have actually is because it's got the little versey part,
Right.
that you're singing.
Yeah,
it's just-
and we're all out. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
which is
which
exactly
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm laying off.
You're laying off.
I'm laying off the.
Which is hard to do with this fancy amp you got here.
Yeah.
It is. It's hard to lay off when
We're
you
still
have
waiting on that sponsorship from Metropolis.
Metropolis. You know what? I was thinking I might send him an email and say, hey,
Yeah.
You want to do some talking?
I mean, we did
Why not?
on episode, I don't know, what is it, 2? You did pretty much like 40 minutes on
on the
on the
I
amp.
mean, I could just
Yeah.
totally do a rig rundown.
A rig
Yeah.
rundown.
Yeah, but pre-production, so
Yeah. Having a
Right.
vision. I mean, well,
vision. What would you like to see, Jimmy?
fuck, I don't
Look, I'm
know.
interviewing you now.
Yeah, I want more hard rock and numbers. You know, I think about like bands like fucking Judas Priest. Here I'm back again talking about Judas Priest. Their
The new
sound
album's fantastic,
it's
by the way.
fantastic, and they're not reinventing themselves. They're
No,
doing the
it's
same shit
totally
again,
pleased.
and it's still awesome.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are different sounds and stuff in there. I mean, and they've have like what, a 40-year career where they did a little exploration
Yeah.
and went down different roads. But then now they pretty much have locked into the same sound
Oh,
for the
yeah.
past like 6 albums, which is awesome. I mean, there's room for us to grow, I think, but we still need to keep it simple. And the old intro, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, you know, is
Right.
our staple.
Yeah.
But we've been throwing key changes in there.
Yeah.
We got a key change in the
Yeah,
new song.
The circle of fourths.
Yep.
Yep.
Not
Yeah.
fifths. It's
That was
fourths.
from episode 0, right?
It was. Yeah.
Circle of
Wow,
fourths.
that's a
I laughed
callback.
about. Yeah,
Yeah.
I laughed about. I'm too dumb to do anything more than 4.
Yeah, so it's
So-
not the
Oh, yeah.
circle
Not
of
the
fifths,
circle of
it's the
fourths.
circle of fourths.
Circle of fourths.
I don't even know
Yeah.
what letters those would be, but anyway.
F U C.
Okay, I'm playing a K chord.
Yeah.
Do we want to keep doing this? Because I want to hear what Andres
Yeah.
thinks about that.
Oh, what?
He don't
Just
know.
what my vision is for
Yeah.
the new album.
Is it time for awkwardness with Andres?
Oh yeah.
Listen.
Hey, it's time for awkwardness
Any-
with Andres.
Anytime I talk, it's awkward.
Yeah.
with me.
It's pretty much the whole segment, the whole
That's just
thing.
who I am
Right.
as a person. It's very uncomfortable for everybody. Yeah, I really liked what we were doing with the songs that ended up on Ace Tucker. Like I kind of want to keep going that direction with like if I feel like if every song that we wrote from here on out was crushing it, I would feel great.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wondrous
what's the fun
Rebellion
one.
is referring to one of our released singles, but it's not on an
yeah.
album. It's
Right,
just a single.
yeah, it's-
crushing it. Available
It'll
on
be on-
Spotify
it'll be on
and
the new
iTunes now.
album.
It'll be on the new album.
But
yeah.
it's
Right.
But okay, here's a question.
Like
that song's awesome.
when
Those-
we wrote that song and
Yeah.
like listening to it, I like hear it and it fucking pumps me up.
Yeah.
Like I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, yeah. I get all
Step into a Slim Jim.
Scott Stapp. Yes, yeah. That's what I get.
So,
like
yeah.
when I hear
Okay.
that.
Take off my glove.
Well, in crushing it, I think too. Like those, I think those 3 songs that we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what I was thinking, my vision when we did those 3 was like doing stuff that wasn't as notey. So it's
Right.
all power chordy,
Right.
sliding around and stuff.
And it
I'm
makes
not-
them powerful.
Well, and it's funny because you're doing less notes and I'm doing way more.
right. And you're
notes.
right. So I mean, maybe
Yeah.
that's the that's the
But-
thing.
And I'm yell singing, but not with the
Right.
with the gonzo. I'm more
Right.
just
More-
doing
yeah.
from the diaphragm singing.
Yeah. I mean,
which I guess.
Maybe that's what we
yeah.
do.
So what we need to do
I see
is
you
listen.
nodding a lot, Chris.
Listen to the songs
That's making
we've
me feel
already
good.
recorded with you, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you feel about those songs? Let's talk about us,
Yeah.
Chris.
Let's
Let's
tell
do
us how
what you'd
good we
want to
are.
do.
Yes. Yes.
So
No, I think you guys, as you progress, you just keep getting better, and I really like the songs. I think they're becoming a little more melodic, more catchy
yeah,
as we go.
yeah.
And so I think you'll probably naturally progress toward that.
I was thinking of this F-U-C-K. Sitting over here laughing.
Giggling.
You're like melodic, and I'm like, it's this F-U-C-K. Sorry.
I was being serious right now.
I know. You were being totally. That's why I was like,
Jeez.
It's really rude.
please continue.
So you're saying keep doing what we're doing.
Keep
Basically.
Right.
going.
Yeah, and just,
And-
you know, I'm probably going to see how far I can push your envelope as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and then this is
as long as we don't break rule number 3,
Yeah, which
it'll be
is-
fine.
Yeah.
What
we
is
can't-
Never play acoustic.
Never play
That's the one
acoustic.
that I always say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
Because
right.
Right.
Well,
in my
okay,
mind, I'm what
but
keeps
I
it
would
from
not
being
be
acoustic.
opposed to having an acoustic guitar
on a track.
Right, as long
But
as there's
the
drums
band
and the
itself-
If it was
rest is-
ran into a Marshall.
Yeah, yeah.
I was gonna
heavily-
say, I mean,
Right. If it's heavily distorted.
Yeah.
no, my catch would be I would do it if it's a Les Paul
Okay.
on the neck pickup, just with the volume rolled off into a Marshall.
So not acoustic at all.
Not acoustic at all.
Well, here's the thing.
You mean we
It's
just mic?
I think the difference between like acoustic, like when I hear acoustic, I think of clean guitar, right? I'm not thinking
Right.
of.
No,
the
I'm
actual-
thinking like a-
Well, I know,
a
like
Dreadnought.
an actual
Yeah.
like fucking an acoustic guitar, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking like clean guitar.
See, I think you guys would do something really cool with my dobro.
When you say you guys, do you mean Dougie?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, so like a little slide action on that maybe, because you can play some
Slide.
slide. I've heard you.
I fake
Yeah.
it.
All you got to do is go.
Even if it's just for an intro or something,
Yeah.
throw people off, and then you rip into the
Right.
regular Les Paul into Marshall thing,
Yeah.
then we're good.
But what if I played slide guitar on a Les Paul into a Marshall?
rolled off the volume, plugged into a Marshall.
you're like, check it out. I can sit down, put this Les Paul on my lap.
Slidey slide.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be.
It's fine. I'll just convert it to MIDI, and we'll do a sample of that. It's fine.
We'll turn it into acoustic.
You're gonna change all of his guitar parts
That's
to
awesome.
acoustic.
Yeah.
Like we get the album back.
And then
Pro Tools.
right,
Yeah,
and
it's
then-
all Pro
and then
Tools.
when
Power
we've
of
got
software.
we've got the videos in the studio. We'll have CGI acoustic
Right,
guitars on.
yeah. Like real crappy and blocky. Like
I want like the big like
like a mariachi.
shit. And put a little sombrero on you.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Red Hot Goo Dolls,
Nice.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That might be it.
Yeah.
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 or the Goo Rebellion.
Yeah. Yeah. Goo Rebellion.
That has a nice ring to it.
does.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
sure does.
It works on so many levels.
Well, I had this whole like thing to go over about the elements of a hit song, but I don't think we need this shit because
None of us have written a hit song. so
exactly.
we don't know.
But I you know how I like to find dumb shit off the internet and like say, look how dumb this shit is. But now that I'm looking at it, it's
and then we make it plausible.
yeah, yeah. Like
Right,
the
'cause
song
you read
needs
it-
to be 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, intro should be
Yeah.
4 bars. We do that.
Yeah.
It should go intro, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, chorus.
Yeah. Yes.
They get it. That's
Yeah.
it.
See, so every
So,
song we write is,
you know
is a
what's-
hit song.
Yeah.
No, wait. Is that the
You hear
article that I wrote?
You hear what the internet is saying? We're right.
We're right.
That's what the internet says.
The words need to connect with the audience. Don't want to play in the basement with
Right.
some lyrics.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we have
think my
songs
lyrics
called
are fine.
Dirtbags and Halfwits, so it's
which
no problem.
are our audience.
I know. That's
Absolutely.
our demographic.
People hear that song. This is about me. They get excited.
The production of the song needs to be high caliber.
Yeah,
That's
where Chris
yeah,
comes
Chris's
in,
problem.
I'll see
right?
if I can call somebody.
The performance needs to be spot on. Okay.
All right.
Now here's something.
Here's something we need to talk about.
Well, okay, so Doug's performances, right? They're beautiful. But remember when we did like 100-something takes of solos that one time?
Try to forget
I don't
that,
remember-
but yes.
I don't remember that.
I often have dreams of that. Yes.
Now, I think this is before you realize you
Nightmares.
figured out how to corral him.
Right.
So I don't anticipate any of those kind of problems. But
Yeah.
like, Chris, talk to like a new producer / engineer dealing with the primadonna. Not that Doug, you are, but let's say
I am.
let's
It's
caricature
cool.
him up
Just
a little
Call
bit.
it what it is.
The prima donna who was not satisfied, who won't listen to reason, who just keeps going again.
So we just got to let them do it.
Okay, just let them ride. It's their
Yeah.
dime, right? I mean, they're paying for the studio time,
Yeah.
right?
Sometimes you just let them do it and, try to insert little bits of advice in there. If it's, so much of this is psychology, and you just got to know how people react, and, and they have to, especially the prima donna types, have to earn, you have to earn their trust. So
Right.
it could take a while. So you just got to let them do it. Let them do it their way for a while. And, if it doesn't work, maybe they'll be open to trying it your way, and
Right.
hope it does.
Yeah.
You know what? Okay, this sparked a memory.
What?
About the million takes. What song was it where there's two fucking solos going at this? It's all right, all
that's
right.
Melt the Sky.
No, it's all right, I think. It's whatever. One of our songs, Doug. There's two separate
solos?
guitar sakes going on at the same
Yeah, that's
time,
Melt the
and this
Sky.
was Chris's fucking idea. We're gonna put both of them together, and it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And he's not like doing the same exact thing on each, and they're like panned a little left
Yeah.
and right, so it sounds fucking crazy. And it's
Yeah.
nothing that Doug would have ever allowed, but we did it, and he's like, "Oh, that sounds cool." So
Yeah, I was like, I'll allow it.
Yeah.
Doug will allow.
Yeah, I'll allow it. I
feel
was
like-
like, yeah, I was like, that's fucking totally
Genius.
Tony Iommi. I mean, Black
Right.
Sabbath.
Yeah.
You listen
Yeah.
to any old Black Sabbath shit, it's two guitar solos at once.
right,
And
If
I
you
was-
cut out one speaker, well, not all of it, but if you cut out one speaker, it sounds totally different.
right,
It still sounds cool, but
right.
And as I recall, I think that section of the song was all about chaos. As I
Yeah, it was
recall.
very
and,
Oh, yeah.
and so it
Yeah.
kind of
that's what we were going for.
fit with the theme and the mood of the song at that point.
There's a
Anything
term
else?
for that, like what is that, synesthesia or whatever, where something sounds like the thing that it's conveying. All right, never mind. I'll look it up. Look it up, kids.
Are you
Look it up.
talking about onomatopoeia?
No, that's a word that sounds like what it sounds. What
Right,
it spells
right.
like.
It sounds like
Maybe
what
I'm
it
thinking
is.
of when you smell colors. That's whatever.
and you see smells.
Yes. Someone email me,
Yes.
redhotrebellion@gmail.com, and tell me
Yeah.
what I'm talking about, because I have no fucking clue.
Right, and
Please
I think
help.
and we're still waiting on our consequences emails.
Yes.
Yeah.
The consequences.
and picks or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
no picks. Don't.
Well-
Well, he's talking about guitar picks, but yeah, consequences. Because now that I'm like looking at like the amount of work we have to do, I don't think we're going to get there. But I'm being a Debbie Downer. If we stay positive, we can do it.
I think we can get there. I think as long as we keep moving forward.
Yeah, and if you get to the point where you're stuck, maybe at that point come in and record what you have.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when you're in the studio, that sparks a whole nother level of
Right.
Yeah.
creativity. So
Yeah. and then we could be like, all right, we got an EP.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We'd
But-
have
yeah, then
something.
you
I'm
get
not
lazy
gonna
and say, "All right, we're done."
Yeah.
Yeah.
done.
Did it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
cool.
Well, thanks, Chris, for coming in.
Yeah.
Do you got anything else you want to add, like to the wisdom to the children
Yeah.
of the world about music or whatever life?
Yeah.
What do you want to say to our very, very small audience?
I have no words of wisdom. Just go buy the music, even if it's on Apple Music or whatever. Just don't download stuff illegally. Let the artist get a little bit of 0.03 cent.
Micro
Micro
pennies.
Yeah.
pennies.
Micro pennies.
Micro
Yep.
pennies.
Give the artist their micro pennies.
Yeah.
Yep. Buy their stuff at shows
Yeah. Go
because
to
that's where they make their gas money.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
This is words of wisdom.
Yeah.
It is.
Absolutely.
It's totally. Yeah.
You looked like you were going to say something or add to that.
I was just going to ask another question.
Go for it.
Well, here's a question that might be for future episodes as well.
Okay.
If you could go back in time and tell yourself one piece of information, what would that be?
About music or just in general?
Anything?
Anything.
Always bet on black.
Maybe we should keep it about. Order up. Well, we'll keep it about music.
okay. That it's all about relationships. It really is. And just be cool and nice to people, and you never know who you're going to meet. And also another thing is just while you're doing this, enjoy the moment. Because in some of my older bands, I was so concerned about being a rock star, making it big, that I didn't enjoy the time I was having at the time, like, in the basement practicing.
Right.
Looking back, those were great times. At the time, I was so worried about making it.
Right.
And, that's not what it's about. It's about getting together with your friends and playing some
Yeah.
music, having fun. And, if it gets beyond that, that's great. But, enjoy the time with your friends while you got it.
That's
There you
right.
go.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's
Thanks,
good.
man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good
that was
advice
great.
just
That's
for
good.
life. Live in the
Yeah.
moment.
Right.
Enjoy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Enjoy the relationships. Enjoy your friends. And I love each and every one of you.
Yeah. Love you too, Jimmy.
I'm not fucking around here.
We'd hug if there wasn't a bunch of microphones in our
Yeah,
faces.
we
Yeah,
weren't all
and
like
space.
several
Yeah.
feet of equipment and bullshit in between each of us.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, I think that does it for this episode of Idiots with Instruments. I am Jim Tremontana, reminding you to keep it simple.
I'm Dougie Spencer, and I am reminding you to stay hydrated.
I am Andres Devine, and I am actively telling you to never play acoustic.
And Chris Suttle, would you like to sign off in your own particular way?
Yes, I am Chris Cookie Suttle. I'm here to remind you to always use enough toilet paper to get the job done.
That's right. Thank you and good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Bye-bye.
Idiots with Instruments is a Solid Arts and Science production. All rights reserved throughout the multiverse. Please subscribe and review the show on iTunes or your podcatcher of choice. Visit idiotswithinstruments.com for exclusive bonus material and to support or sponsor this show.